Well, News Channel 12's Erin Pickens, she is now on the scene right now. She joins us now live and has more on what happened. Erin, what can you tell us?
And we're live here on the scene of the Ag Museum. Let me step out of the way and show you, because the pictures do tell this story. We're looking at the fire still burning here at these facilities here at the Ag Museum. At least 3 buildings, we're told, did catch fire here. Now, I'm joined by Chief Arson Investigator Greg Travis. And Chief Travis, I know you just pulled up here. Tell us, what do you know so far?
Well, right now I know that this was a second alarm fire. The fire is under control at this time. As you can see, the firefighters have reduced the size of the fire at this point, and it appears that at least 3 buildings were affected by this fire. A total loss appears to be, and right now, again, we're just trying to do all we can just to make sure the fire is completely out.
A massive scene here. Now, there were some earlier reports that someone was hurt, but I do understand now that no firefighters have been hurt in this. Is that correct?
Right. We don't have a report of any firefighters that have been hurt as a result of this fire.
At this point, I know it's really early in the investigation, but any indication of how this may have started?
Right now, it will remain under investigation, and we don't have that, but as soon as we can develop a cause, we can bring that to you.
And I know you've been with the Jackson Fire Department for many, many years. A fire this size, a 2-alarmer, is this one of the biggest ones that you've seen in recent history?
It is one of the biggest ones we've seen possibly this year, but it's a large fire. It was a large fire.
Thank you so much. This is Chief Arson Investigator Greg Travis here on the scene with us. He just pulled up, and we kind of grabbed him to pull him in front of this camera. Information right now is very, very limited because many people are wondering about a cause. There is no cause right now. They're not even able to get into and start their investigation just yet. Also, a lot of people have been asking about the animals. There were animals housed in this facility. Let me step aside again and just show you, again, because the pictures do tell this story. There were several animals in at least one of these 3 buildings that burned. We're told, sadly, that they believe that some of the animals were lost. No indication on any numbers right now, but we were able to see several horses running around this facility earlier, so we do know that they were able to get several of their animals out, get them to safety. But again, sadly, they do believe that several of these animals have been lost. I was talking to a gentleman earlier who told me about they had a meeting this morning with the foundation, and they were talking about some multi-million-dollar upgrades to this facility just this morning, and now a few hours later they're dealing with this, and they will have to worry about the rebuilding process of this as well. So again, we're out here live. We're going to run and try to get some more people here from the Ag Museum to talk to us, and we'll be back out here with you live in just a few minutes. Byron and Melanie, back to you.
All right, thank you there, Erin. A lot of good information out there that we got, some information we didn't know. This is a 2-alarm fire, so that fire is now under contained. So it's one of the largest fires that they've had all year that the Jackson Fire Department had to work on. We know that now that some animals did perish in this fire. We don't know how many and how many were in those.
Or what.
Or what animals.
What type of animal.
Did
we do know that they saw some horses that were able to be freed, roaming. So that's good news, and that there are rescuers, animal rescuers on the scene that came to help out in any way that they could. So that's good that people are out there that can help in that manner.
Well, we'll say this fire call came in shortly before 5 o'clock. They've been out there for a little over an hour, but they got that fire under control, this 2-alarm fire under control in about a little over an hour's time. So they did get that under control very quickly and got as many of those animals out there as fast as they could. No firefighter was injured, although there was a report that maybe one firefighter was injured, but that was not the case in this situation. So this is
very good. There are no injuries reported among any personnel out there at all. And of course, you're still seeing it burning because indeed, while it is contained, it is not out. And that's why firefighters will be on this scene for hours to come to make sure about those hot spots and all, to make sure that it doesn't rekindle and start up again. It's a very serious situation, but it's interesting that Erin had met someone from the foundation. All the foundation folks are out there. These are the people who make the big decisions concerning the Ag Museum, and they had just discussed today at a meeting making some going ahead, I guess, and making their plans for a multi-million-dollar renovation of this facility. And of course, didn't know that hours later they would be faced now with the this loss, and then of course with that comes the rebuilding. And so a big loss for the city of Jackson, for the state of Mississippi, and for so many folks here in the area who use this facility for so many things: weddings, church services, business meetings, luncheons,
festivals,
the school groups that come out. Yes,
concerts, a lot of different things.
It would be hard to find probably people who had not stepped foot on that inside those gates at least once in their time here in the metro area.
Yeah.
You live here long enough.
Yeah, a lot of things that it's used for. It's a multi-use facility, and with a lot of activities that happen year-round. It's a year-round facility. If they can't do something outside, they have room inside for some of the entertainment. Some of the venues has been used for political functions as well. So there's always something going on at the Ag Museum here on Lakeland Drive. So
it really is. They would rent out those facilities, and that's how they got some of their income. Of course, they do have a wonderful gift shop that has a lot of Mississippi-made arts and crafts. It's just beautiful. And also inside are a lot of donated items to the actual museum itself. Different farm equipment dating way back. And so people would go and look at that, and they could see what their grandfather and great-grandfather and great-grandmothers and great-great-grandmothers had used. And also in the design of the old town were actual buildings that had been donated from areas all over the state of Mississippi. We heard that maybe the school house building was involved. We don't know that yet, but indeed that's a structure that came from Lawrence County and was built back in 1960. And they have a little, the general store where you can get the small Cokes. You
like
know
the
that?
small Cokes.
Yeah,
Those
the
are nice.
small Cokes and the 10-cent candy, but I'm not sure it's 10 cents. It might have gone up. But anyway, it was a true replica of what you would have found back then, and it brought back a lot of warm memories for people who had lived or have lived during that time and saw that, but also for school children who were studying that and looking, and they could come here and really see what it was like.
Well, it gives you a little getaway while you're still here in town. So you can,
right in town.
Yeah, you're right in town. You can get away if you want to get away for a few hours. Go to the Ag Museum, and you kind of get away from it all and get back in time, and then get back in your car and
the
you're back
rose
home
garden.
again.
Let me not forget the rose garden. Beautiful, beautiful roses grown there, and that was another very special part of this. Again, this fire looks to be contained to 3 buildings, is what we're hearing. 3 barn-like structures that were located behind the actual artifact museum, where you entered and paid your fee and went in to tour. This was actually located right behind it. Unfortunately, this is where animals were housed. We know there has been some loss of life for the animals. We don't know what animals, and we don't know how much. We do know horses have been seen roaming. They've locked the gates to allow the animals to be able to get out and free and not escape, hopefully. And animal rescuers are on the scene.
That's right. News Channel host Erin Pickens is on the scene right now. She has more information about what is going on there at the museum. Erin.
And again, live here at the Ag Museum, where at least 3 of the buildings here at this site have burned. As you see, still some fire inside these buildings. Hard to tell what they even started out being. But again, several buildings here, at least 3 buildings at this facility have burned. The Jackson Fire Department is working now to find out exactly what caused this fire. It's too soon to even begin to speculate on what started the fire. They haven't even had a chance to go inside, just because, again, as you see, it's still burning. Dozens of firefighters here on this scene. It is a 2-alarm fire. There are firefighters from several parts of the capital city here working on this. They have several other ladder trucks out here. As you can see, they're actually fighting this fire from the air right now. One of the fire engines here, you can see that stream of water that's going down on top of these buildings, trying to get this fire under control. Again, fighting this fire from the ground and from the air here. The big question that many people have been asking, what about the animals? There were several animals in this building. Early on, we know that they were trying their best to get as many of these animals out of this building as they could. Was just talking with a gentleman just a second ago, and he mentioned to me that they think that they were able to rescue several of the animals. There are no numbers right now. Several members of the staff here at the Ag Museum are inside with firefighters right now being interviewed, trying to get some numbers here about, you know, what they're actually dealing with, what kind of building this is, how many animals and what kind of animals. We've seen horses, we've seen goats, we've seen pigs here at this facility as well. So stepping out of the way once again to show you exactly what we're dealing with. That smoke here about an hour and a half ago when this fire first started could be seen for miles. And again, dozens of members of the Jackson Fire Department are here on this scene working to get things under control. We talked with Chief Arson Investigator Greg Travis just a few moments ago, and he told us that they do consider this fire under control, meaning that at this point, they do not believe this fire will be spreading to any other site. So again, we'll stay here and we'll be back live with you later on in this show. Melanie, Byron, back to you.
Thank you again so much. Such very good information coming from out there. Again, though, it's going to be a while before firefighters are even able to, leave the scene. They're going to have to make sure that fire is completely out and the hot spots are not rekindling. They'll probably be there all night long. But also that to determine what caused this, that's going to take days, I'm sure.
Yeah, and Ken was telling us that today winds have been at 5 to 10 miles per hour and gusting up to 20 miles per hour.
20 right now.
So that's been part of the issue
That
out there.
those,
and we're at 36
those
degrees
flames.
right now, so it's a cold night, kind of a windy night, and that's not going to help some things out there.
And
but
very dry. It has
very
been
dry, so
very
that's an
dry
issue.
with no significant rainfall at all. So it was dry. It's an area where there's a lot of hay, a lot of dry wood. Those were wooden buildings. It just had all the makings with the wind of what we're seeing right now.
Perfect for that for right now. So they'll be out there for a while trying to put those hot spots out because of that. Of course, we're going to have much more on this fire at the Ag Museum. That's going to be coming up all tonight on News Channel 12 at 10. Until then, everybody, thank you for joining us for that. We're going to keep you reporting on all this out with our crews out there, and we have complete coverage of the Ag Museum fire that's coming up tonight at 10. Until then, everybody, make it a good night.